should be able to see comments as well. A few people join in.
Good morning, Sue. Good morning, Mick. Here we go. Bright and lovely, lovely.
A few more people.
Back doing our, there we are, back doing our Saturday morning stint rather than our evening stint. Hi, Erin. Right. Should we do?
Yeah, do we want to do a couple more, wait a couple more minutes? And you can see the
little turkey thing going on here. It's all a little bit, it's a bit strange, isn't it? It's just like we're behind.
There's a lag between the two. So we're on Facebook and Instagram, and there's a lag between the two. So, yeah.
Mind you, there's a bit of a lag in my life most of the time, actually.
We've had our coffee this morning, so...
We have had our coffee, so we are raring to go. Okay, so I think we will give it 10 seconds, and then we can make a start, can't we, I think? As we're all in and ready to rock. Alrighty?
Yes.
Okay.
So Facebook, you might need to move in a little bit,
This
just
way?
so then... yeah, just shift it in so people can
We're
see.
trialling a different little setup here, so we've got to be a bit cosier maybe.
Yeah.
We do this right, we are within the same bubble.
We're testing.
Rather than 2 metres away. Okay, right, so we are doing Christmas dinner. Of course we're doing Christmas dinner today. We have created a special Christmas dinner mix. Which is, I have to say, beautiful. We have taken the best free range turkey, we have added a little bit of lamb, just to sort of give it a little bit of colour. We have popped some cranberries in, and we've done all your festive veg as well, and of course it still contains the krill and all the supplements, so that it is a whole food, complete food diet, so that's perfect, and still finished it off with the herbs on the top.
Yes, so we've added, like the festive veg, we've added in the usual, so to be exact, we've added in some cranberries, some sprouts, red cabbage, carrots, parsnips, cauliflower, and then obviously our usual nice herb blend, and like you said, the Untitled krill, which are great for omegas, so it's good to know that if you're treating them on Christmas, then they're still getting a nice complete balanced meal as well. But, so what we're doing today, like Vicky said, is a Christmas turkey loaf. So many people like to let their pets join in, but often, you know, we season the turkey at Christmas, all the stuffing inside, and a lot of the ingredients there, especially of using high quantities of garlic, lots of butter, which is quite high in fat, and things, you know, very good and very delicious, but not so great for our pets. So, you know, you can always just give them a bit of plain turkey. However, if you wanted to create them a whole feast for their own, then this is a great alternative. So you can use this, or just some turkey mince and things on its own. Just make sure that it's plain instead.
I think you could probably, you know, when you've had your Christmas dinner, I mean, we could even use this as a Boxing Day dinner, because you could use your cooked turkey, because all we're doing is combining. You'd adjust your cooking times, but we're combining beautiful turkey. We're adding a little bit of egg to obviously to get that binding in there. And then although obviously we've added some seasonal veg, there's nothing wrong with adding a little bit more. So if you're using just a plain turkey, then do use a little bit more veg. We've already got cranberries in here, so we've not added cranberries to our extra veg, but of course cranberries are really, really good for dogs, just like they are for humans. They really support all the urinary sort of tract and sort of kidney side of things. So, you know, they're good. And obviously being berries, full of antioxidants as well.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to add a little bit of extra veg.
Yeah, so this is a great way to help disguise veg if you've got a dog, like many of us know. Yeah,
You've got a dog like Fletcher.
yeah, that doesn't like their vegetables, then this is great to try and sneak them in. We've also grated it to help sort of partially start to break it down, because dogs can't digest cellulose like we do. So just by grating it, or just, you know, juicing it or anything like that, just helps break it down and makes it readily digestible, so they get that nice source of fibre, which is what we want from the vegetables.
And the vitamins.
Yeah, and then grating it as well just means it's smaller pieces for your dog to pick out. Obviously, if you've got a dog that loves veg and you want to do it more chunky, then you can chop it up. a link in our recipe video and that we've done for this that we'll share after. Then
we've done it.
Yeah,
we've
chopped it so it's nice and chunky. However, it comes down to the individual. You know your dog the best, so if you've got a dog that just won't eat it, try and grate it up. Or, you know, if you don't want to add any in because you know if you're buying our mince that it's already got the veg in, you don't have to. And that's perfectly fine.
And I guess, you know, making it into a loaf rather than just stir frying, what have you, creates that slicing the Christmas turkey sort of feel as well. Also, if you are cooking it in a loaf and you want to cut it up into small pieces, you can also use it for treats. You know, if you're going out for your Christmas Day walk or your Boxing Day walk and you want to take a few little treats for the dogs, again, creating a loaf, creating something which you've made a little bit more solid, then actually you can cut that into little pieces and use it as treats as well. Yeah. You know, so at least, again, not using, it just stops all that rubbish that comes from China, all those hideous things that, you know, we get sucked into sometimes when we're in the pet shop. It all looks amazing, it all looks like we're spoiling our dogs. The best way you can spoil your dog is to take the freshest ingredients, the highest quality ingredients, and create something yourself. A little bit of time, a little bit of love, that goes much, much further than a plastic wrap something from China.
Or rawhide as well, you see, you know, in any pet, a lot of pet stores, you know, these big brand name pet stores, they've got all these stockings filled with these multicoloured rawhide. And rawhide is not a byproduct of the meat industry, it's a byproduct of the leather industry. So there's so many chemicals, they don't digest it down. You know, if your dog's chewing on that, then it just sort of turns into taffy. And then they just end up swallowing it. It can lead to blockages, and it's just so lethal. And I can't believe that they can still sell it. So many vets are warning against it. There's so many other alternatives to chews. If you don't want to give a bone, there's vegetable-based chews. There's, you know, wooden chews. There's so many different alternatives to just avoid rawhide. Yeah, and then just, I think that's the main thing. Yes, I think spreading awareness
and making something yourself. You know what has gone in it. Yeah, that's the point. Now I'm lining my loaf tin, and I'm afraid my style of lining is about as good as my style of Christmas wrapping. I'm afraid. Yeah. So I did try my neatest. Please don't judge me on the appalling grease-proof shaping, but I'm just going to do that because what happens then at the end, you can just lift it out, which is great. Yeah. So let's just pour that beautiful mixture. I mean, you know, look at that. And obviously, being our cook-along, I will be eating it as well at the end of the. Because it takes about an hour in the oven. So
you want it to, you know, maintain that loaf. So although it sort of cooks through, you want it to sort of darken on top. So just a low temperature of roughly around 180 degrees. You know, a bit like I know in America they have something meatloaf.
Or if you make like a terrain, if you were making cooking a vegetable.
Yeah, then you know just leave it in. It's really easy, you know, to whip up and stick in the oven on a low heat.
Cool. So, and I guess, you know, we've got a lovely bowl of cranberries here. You could put a little line of cranberries, but just be careful they don't catch on the top. Because that's if you don't want burnt fruit on the top, do we? Absolutely. So, there we are. There it is, looking glorious and festive with all those beautiful colours. And we're going to pop that in the oven.
And then what you can do as well is then serve it with a side of, you know, roasted veg. You know, if you wanted to do some roast potatoes, we've used sweet potatoes just because there's so many more benefits than white potato. You know, if you're, you know, just serving it up on Christmas Day with your own stuff. What I will say though is, you know, with humans, then we can use quite a lot of salt, so maybe just put some to one side without salt on there.
Yeah, that's it. Don't add any salt to what you're cooking for the dogs.
Yeah, and then just serve it up.
And we've obviously had our sprouts boiling for the last 3 days, ready for the cook-along. So they're still on the side. What we are going to do is we have done it in great Blue Peter style. Yeah. We have made a loaf earlier with the trimmings, and so obviously the sprouts needed the 3 days to cook, so they're just finishing off now. We will then show you the finished article then. But in the meantime, we are going to do mince pies for dogs. Yeah. So we like to do a dessert because, let's face it, everyone likes a pudding. Mince pies, of course, are full of all the lethal things that dogs shouldn't have. Raisins, you know, dried fruit, Absolute
rum,
no-no.
alcohol.
Oh yeah, rum.
Whatever alcohol you like to add in.
Exactly. So we wanted to create a mince pie that you can make and share with your dog. So we are starting with good old oat flour. So again, literally this morning, all I did was blitz some porridge oats. So it's much easier to make your own flour. We've talked about why oats are better than wheat before, but let's just to recap. I mean, plenty of fibre in there. You can get some beautiful organic oats that you could actually blitz up. And interestingly, what Vic did some notes to me actually, really interesting. I didn't realise that oats contained antioxidants. Yeah, so actually really quite a nice healthy alternative, and also vitamin E as well. So we're sort of supporting, you know, it's a great pudding, supporting their skin and fur with a lovely mince pie.
Yeah, oats are just a nice alternative because, you know, wheat, it's just a small amount of wheat for dogs, you know, you give them a biscuit and things like dog biscuits and stuff, that's fine, but there are so many dogs that are intolerant to wheat or just can't handle it. It's quite a lot on their digestion. So when you're doing something, you know, it doesn't, if you did want to use, you know, normal flour, that's fine if you know your dog's fine with that. However, you know,
why not give them the benefit of oats?
Yes.
And again, that's the beauty of making it yourself.
Yeah.
You can decide what you want to do in terms of what you feed your dog. So again, you know, egg is fantastic. We know it's great to give dogs eggs, so a nice free-range egg. Did you see my little, I put it in a little festive bowl.
It is very
festive
cute.
bowl as well. So
all I'm doing with the oat flour is adding in an egg and just mixing that through. Just again to help bind. It's a very easy sort of pastry. So we're not adding in, you know, the usual butter and things like that because again, we just need to be careful with some of the fat levels in there. We don't want to overdo it for our pets. And obviously no sugar. So, you know, if you did want to eat it yourself, then it is perfectly fine. It just won't be as sweet as your normal sort of pastries and things. So once that's all combined, then I'm just adding in some water and just slowly add it in until it all sort of combines and forms a dough.
I'm just looking at the comments. Have I got pajama? Who? Me? No.
Have you got pajama bottoms
Penny.
on?
It's a lovely Kath Kids and Penny, and I have proper trousers on underneath.
She's eyeing his pajamas.
Actually, I hadn't even thought about that. We could have just rolled out of bed, you know, kept our pajama bottoms on and then gone for it. That would have been really
Well, I think
easy.
that's what so many people are doing if they're just on Zoom calls. It's professional on the top, and then until you need to stand up for something and you're like, oh.
Or actually, in our case, there's a dog on your lap. You know?
Yeah, I can't get up.
I can't possibly move. So you're putting the water in there just to combine that, aren't you, until you feel it's sort of thereabouts.
So then you just want to get hands mucky and start combining it all just to form the dough.
Now I've got a confession. We couldn't find the festive cutters, so we've brought out the flower shaped one. But you know, I think we could pretend it's some sort of you know, festive flour. Vicky, we did again make some earlier because they need to be baked in the oven, and I said to Vicky, of course you could just cut a star out freehand or make up a stencil.
It's harder than it seems. I thought, oh yeah, that's fine, I'll easily cut out a star. Made the first one and I was like, how do I not know what a star is? It was like so bad, so then I resorted to scoring two triangles together and then cutting out around it because I was like, oh, that
Well,
will
you can judge the efforts at the end of the day. I think they look beautiful and I think they look very handmade, which is, you know, rustic and organic, I think is probably the term we wanted, and that's absolutely fine.
Exactly.
Now, so what are we going to do instead of using raisins and suet and mince? We are going to take good old frozen berries. So the sort of thing that if you were doing a lovely summer pudding, so we have got some gorgeous mixed berries here. Now, there's two ways of doing this, and we've done it both ways, haven't we? And I don't think there's no benefit or better or worse option. But basically, what we have done is I have defrosted the berries and just sort of squidged them, technical term, through the sieve, because what you don't want is your mince pies just swimming in juice or water.
You don't want soggy bottom.
You don't want, oh my goodness, what would Mary Berry say? Absolutely. So we have done that, and we've tried to just hold it over a sieve just to squirge some of the juice out. Alternatively, what you could do is almost, if you think about it from like a jam making point of view, without the sugar, is just sort of heat it through in a pan and cook it off a little bit. Now, if you're going to again add fresh cranberries to this, then you are going to need to cook those down. So we bought the cooking cranberries, and that's what we were doing. But with this one, we've just got the beautiful berries, and again, you've got it's full of antioxidants. It's really good for the dogs as well. We're not adding any additional sugar. You've got the lovely sort of natural sort of sweetness of the oat base, and then
and then you can also add in a bit of cinnamon if you did want to the fruit.
That brings
festive
it.
spice. Again, like we've said before with previous spices, you just want to be careful with some of the spices because they're not all suitable.
Yeah, cinnamon's a good one. Cinnamon is a good one.
Ginger.
Steer away from the mixed spice. So,
So all we've done is sort of floured our tins. You can use a bit of coconut oil or something and then put a bit of flour in instead of normal butter. Now, it's quite a sturdy dough, so instead of rolling it all out, I'm just taking off balls and rolling it out and then just pushing it in and then trying to make it look as neat as possible. Which
you could trim with a little knife actually as well, couldn't you? There's a little knife.
Which I will, take some bits off. Hopefully your pup won't judge you for the styling of that.
You could work on it. You could actually try and make it look like holly-edged mince pies.
Sure, that is what I'm doing.
Yes, it is. Now, the other thing to say, and we've got caught out once and thankfully realised before anything disastrous happened, but sometimes when you buy the mixed frozen berries, it'll say forest fruits, and for who knows what reason, someone slung some grapes in there. So please, 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 don't just look at the title of the bag and the title of the product. Actually get it turned over and read the instructions.
Yeah.
Because it's really, really important that you haven't picked something up that has got grapes in it. Because we know, obviously, we do not feed grapes.
Yeah, they've got a toxin in it, which is very toxic to dogs. So, you just don't want to risk it, really.
But it's just, we were a bit sort of, shocked, to be honest, weren't we, a bit, when you actually, thankfully, we sort of started to put it in a mix and then turned the rubbish over and thought, oh my goodness, how can grapes ever be sort of, described as forest fruits? But they weren't, or even berries. I think we even called it forest berries or something, didn't it? So please, please, please always check on the ingredients when you are buying something, a mix from the shops.
Now, Clemmy says yum.
Oh, Clemmy, this is a really good oat base for the biscuits we were talking about earlier. So, while you've got some of this, I'm just going to take a little bit of this mix.
Well, we want to...
Oh, you're going to blind bake it first?
blind bake it a bit, just so it doesn't get too soggy when we add in the fruit. So it doesn't take long just to blind bake them.
Now, we don't have to put anything in there to protect it though, do we? Like the greaseproof paper or the baking beans or anything like that?
No, it doesn't, because it's oats, it won't really rise or anything.
Right.
You can do if you did, but when we were practicing this recipe, it just stays the same, so that's the benefit of using oat flour. But I guess if you're using actual flour, which might raise
it's not quite as bit.
robust,
is it? It's not quite as heavy.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, if I was making mince pies, I don't blind bake because I'm a bit lazy. I'm a lazy.
Well, we can have a go then and see. We can compare.
Actually, yes, because the ones we made earlier were beautifully done, blind bake, follow the rules. Whereas I can be a little bit sort of, not slapdash, not slapdash, just sort of lacking in time. I think lacking in time is probably the way to describe it. So I think we should we'll do a little test, and we can sort of put the result. Actually, let's put the results on afterwards.
Yeah.
What was the difference between blind baking? But you see, this has really, really sort of, we've got quite a lot of liquid out of there. So I think this hopefully will be the case, and I think that's what I'm just going to put. And I'm not going to be sort of mingy with
I'll pop that there, and then what I'll do is I'll roll a couple toppings on there.
Yes, I did have a little cutter.
So what you can do if you're feeling creative, put any sort of festive thing, star holly, Christmas tree, gingerbread.
Or the other thing we thought about was if you don't want to go too heavy on the sort of the pastry biscuity side, is to bake them as little tarts and then put a little dollop of natural yogurt on the top.
Yeah.
Or a little bit of kefir or something like that. So then you've almost got sort of little cream topped pies, which actually, you know, just gives you the opportunity to sort of mix it up a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I think. So
So all I'll do is I'll just pop that on top. That's sort of a
that looks
star.
like a starish.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely.
We don't need to make
And
one
of
and embarrass
course,
ourselves.
this is a really lovely festive colour as well, isn't
Yeah,
it?
so, because often, you know, most people, I don't like mince pies, but
Oh, I love
a lot of people like mince pies, so, you know, your pup can join in.
And actually, if you're making these for the dog, there is no reason why you can't serve them to everybody. I mean, as, you know, for me, if it's good enough for the dog, then it's good enough for everybody else. I reckon you should do one blind. If we're going to do a proper test here,
Yeah,
we'll do one with
okay.
just that in, and we'll see what
Right,
happens.
so as you can see, I used 250 grams of oat flour. It makes quite a lot, so just keep going and going until it's all used up and all your fillings used up. You could also just roll it out, and if you wanted to cut them into shapes and just bake it that way on their own as biscuits, and then just dollop some of the fruit on top, then that's fine as well.
So, while those are all in the oven, let's just take a look at the Christmas dinner that
Could
we...
you put a hug biscuit on top of the toppings on the pie? That would be good.
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
Can you
good
freeze
idea.
these bakes after you've cooked them? Yeah, you
Yeah.
could. Yeah, there's no reason why you can't.
You can batch make, can't you? That's the beauty of it.
Yeah, just you know, when defrosting, you know, obviously with some of the fruit and everything, it might just you know, it might get a little bit softer and things. So,
But then
just
you
be
can always
aware
put
of
them in
that.
the oven again to sort of dry them
Yeah,
out a little
yeah.
bit, maybe. So, right. So, this is the beautiful turkey loaf that we made yesterday, wasn't it? So freshly baked yesterday. So that was using our lovely Hug mince. I've now, as I say, we've now cooked the sprouts for 3 days, and we can just pop those on the
And
side.
with this loaf, you could also, once you've cooked it up, you know, wrap it up and you can
And you
put
freeze
those
that
in.
down.
Yeah.
And again, the beauty of a loaf is that you can cut it into portions. You know, that is the other side of it. So there. So we have a Christmas dinner fit for our little princes and princesses. I think it's probably so. So there we are. I'm going to cut it now, and then we can see how it looks inside. Oh, I just want to take a picture of that. That looks amazing, doesn't it? So let's just have a little look. There we go. Look at that. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And let's see if I can taste her. I love it in a loaf, actually.
Yeah. Can you
It's
taste all
really,
the
yeah.
veg?
And actually, there's quite a nice sweetness to it as well.
I guess with the cranberries and things and parsnips and carrots have a bit of sweetness.
Yeah, I think that's what's done it. It's the parsnips in it. That is absolutely beautiful. Now, my children will be proud of me. Will I eat my sprouts? Of course I will, because they are my favourite. Now, that's your Christmas dinner. That is really good.
Yeah. Now, obviously, allow to cool before giving to your dog.
Exactly.
So make an advance maybe, and then serve up once it's all cool.
And obviously, with the Christmas dinner mix, we have got that available online. Now, at the moment, it's in boxes of 6. But if you're buying lots of other products from us, frozen products, and you want us to pop one in, I'm sure if you email us, we can do that for you as well. Now, you need to see the finished mince pies as well.
Oh, yeah.
Let's have a look. Oh, hiya, the dogs are about.
Oh, what can you smell?
Yes,
I
I
like it
know,
because of the
Poppy.
fruit on it.
So here we are. Here is our beautiful little festive mince pies.
So if you can see, so that's my take on a star.
It's beautiful stuff. And again, what's really lovely is that berry mix has held its colour. The dogs have already tucked into some of these, so let's just basically just break it open.
Yeah, you can see the cranberries and things. So you can fill it right up. Obviously these are a little low. Yeah, and I just want to
Really
add,
good.
the holly is just for decoration. Don't feed it to your dog.
No, or berries. You know, we've got the cranberries on here as well. So Have we got any other questions? I don't think we have we? But so that's it.
But if you have a go, then we'd love to see it. Thanks in your creation. We will be sharing the recipe. So on the event page, we've obviously shared the turkey recipe. We will share the mince pie. If you'd like us to send it to you, then just drop us an email as well. hello@hugpetfood.co.uk and not .co.uk. Yeah, it is that.
It's Saturday morning, we need another coffee.
So yeah, drop us an email and we can always send you over the PDF. But yeah.
Yeah. Oh look. Someone has now climbed up me. So we've got one dog hanging over the
You've
the
been
settee.
watching
You're
Little
come. You've been
Pickle.
sitting. You're up here as well. You want some too? Okay, there we are, my darling. There we are. Good boy. Put it on the floor nicely. That's nice. This is, as I say, nice and chilled.
Peanuts in.
Right, Peanut. What are
On
you
the
up
top
to?
now.
Are you up to? Oh, just not my fingers as well, Puppet. There we go. I think Peanut approves. And you want some more down there as well. Oh yeah, you're too heavy to lift up. And we'll go and serve some to Raggy on his bed over there. He's sitting beautifully. Oh, a little biscuit. There we are. Brilliant stuff.
Okay.
Thank you so much for sharing your morning with us. I hope you found. Oh my goodness! I hope you found it useful.
I'm sorry,
Good boy. Oh, that's delicious. Well done, Poppet. And we'll go and take some over to Raggy. Thank you so much. Merry Christmas. And thank you to everybody who supported us this year. And a very, very peaceful and happy and prosperous New Year. Yeah. Thank you very much for joining us. Take care. You want some more? Oh my goodness me. You've eaten all that up. Here we are, my Poppet. There. Oh my goodness, we've got hoovers. We've got